is the oldest comic book that you have come across in your lifetime?
I can't quite narrow it down to an individual issue. We have come across a good run of what we call Silver Age comics. The Silver Age it's a disputed time period, but generally books from about 62 to 1969. I have held some books from the early to mid 50s. Primarily, though, the modern comic reader isn't interested as much in the older things. They want their new things as they come out. So, older books are nice. Just this particular market isn't attracted to them as much.
Anything else that you would like to ask?
Well, I see that over and over in the cartoon industry, even on TV and everywhere else, that they are turning to the adult a lot. And even, as you said about the 80s are coming back, even in the fashion industry, it's the same thing. They're doing that.
It makes sense. With that demographic being that 18 to 35, if we look at the 80s, that's 20 years ago. If you started picking up comics as a 10 to 15-year-old, right now, 20 years later, you're going to have a little bit more disposable income that you wouldn't have had as a 12 or 15-year-old, and can maybe relive some of those things. Why younger kids aren't the target, I don't know. Comic books are a great way to introduce literacy to young readers. Because of the pictures, you can convey the idea both graphically and with text, and it's just a shame that the publishers haven't taken that approach to it.
Imagination, I would think.
Yeah, the publishers, it's like a business. Apparently, it's just a business, and they're not really reaching out and identifying with the children themselves. It's just like a business. We are going to take a bit of a tour and see what Darren has here in the store. So Toni Simmons, Bill Landing on Interesting Individuals, with John Baines, of course, on camera. Don't want to forget John. He's helping us out today. We will be back in just a moment. We are out on the sales floor of All-Star Comics, and we don't want to interrupt your customers, Darren, but everybody's out here doing a little shopping, and we're going to take a look at some of the displays and some of the items, and we are over here by some of the superheroes. So, Darren, I'll let you explain.
Sure. These are some of the trade paperback collections. Generally, the publishers will gather up 6, 7, or 8 of the individual issues, and it becomes a convenient way, if you haven't grabbed those single issues, that you can get a coherent storyline all in one shot. The essentials, the ultimates there, it's just what we call trade paperbacks. 6, 7, 8 issues at a time. These are the best things in the world for reading, because you're not having to wait that 6, 7 months anxiously waiting for each individual episode to come out. So we see a big switch in the market to trade paperbacks. We're even finding that the mass market booksellers now are starting to compete with us a little bit with the trade paperbacks. It's a convenient form.
And we got to hold up Spider-Man, because we've got 4 or 5 Spider-Man books there, and we'll just hold this up and take a look. And now I see some names on there that are not too familiar with me, the ones on top.
Well, the first name should be a familiar one to you. If you've ever watched some science fiction television and watched Babylon 5, the writer of Babylon 5 was Michael Straczynski, and he has broken into comics in a big way. Really a solid writer. John Romita Jr. here is one of the best artists in the Marvel stable that's out there. Romita has been doing stuff for a long time, and just great names in the comic book world. Amazing Spider-Man. There again, we're still riding off the wave of the Spider-Man movie from last May, and we're looking forward to some really good new projects coming up. Daredevil, another X-Men movie, and the Hulk, all coming out in 2003. So it is going to be a very strong year for comic-related pop culture items. We're looking forward to it here.
Now, Stan Lee, who of course is the original creator of Spider-Man, going back to what, the 40s, or I don't know how far back it was, but I happened to saw him, there was an article about him in TV Guide just a few months ago. I understand he is not the original creator. He was working for a comic book company, I understand. Did I understand that correctly, that he was working for somebody when he created Spider-Man? He didn't just do that freelance.
Didn't do it freelance. He and I believe it was Jack Kirby as the artist, were the guys that put Spider-Man together. Marvel itself wasn't very new. It was a new company at that point in time, but Stan was in with Marvel pretty much from the beginning. But yeah, he got to start working for other guys, like all of them had. They worked for some of the small publishers. Comics wasn't a big thing. It's a unique American art form, but it was always relegated to a second-class status for such a long time. But the Spider-Man comics begin really big in the mid-'60s. Amazing comes out in the 60s. Spider-Man's introduction is in Amazing Fantasy 15, which was a kind of I'm thinking like an anthology-type title.
All righty. Well, you want to reach something up on the top level? Can you reach it?
You know, Spider-Man and the Hulk were big when I was younger, and I never expected him to look like that underneath there.
Well, let's pull one out. Who, the Hulk or
I could maybe have an anxiety attack waiting for the next issue.
We've seen, you really don't want to see underneath the mask that much because that takes away from it, but it's the mask that makes the character when he's without the mask, or in the case of Superman, when he has the glasses on, he's that different person. So the artists try to make the character look even just a little differently, superhero versus their alter ego.
I don't think I ever seen Spider-Man without his mask.
It wouldn't be Spider-Man without it.
There you go. We'll be back and do some more touring here in just a moment. Darren is going to talk a little bit about some of the game collections that you have here at the store, and they look really nice.
Sure. One of the other popular things right now is the tabletop miniature games are the rage right now. A lot of these games are now coming out. They're already painted, nice plastic miniatures. You can collect them as